It's totally a dirty trick.
I told you in confidence what pattern I was working on.
All right, don't tell me what pattern you're working on, but we shall say hi because we're live. So hello all. Welcome to Actual Play. We're doing our third episode of Autumn of the Ancients, co-authored by one of the folks here, Jen Martin, and we're gonna figure out where we go on the Taulon. I'm missing a letter or two. Taulon Flotilla, I think. Am I saying that right, Jen?
Hang on, I have to.
I feel because I have like the map so tiny. I feel like I'm
Talon Flotilla.
Nice.
Talon. I don't know. It's however we want to pronounce it.
Fantastic. Yay. So why don't we all go around and say who we are, maybe what we've been up to, and then because Jay was in the last game, we'll also do a little recap of the game. Dana, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. My name is Banana Chan, and I am the co-founder of Game in a Curry, and I play Nebo.
Awesome. Jen, why don't you go?
I am Jen Martin. I am part of the two-person team that made this game, along with Adam Robichaud, and I am playing Callisto.
Cool. Jay?
I'm Matt J. I'm a freelance writer. I'm currently working on Clockwinders for Fate and Prime Supers for Cortex. I play the Ori.
Nice. The Ori, right? I forgot It was the Ori.
The Ori.
I'm Sean. I host this channel and am a publisher. I work with Evil Hat to publish games like Clockwinders, and I am playing Kamala, the specimen from Echo Station. So we're totally gonna like just recount last session, not because I might have forgotten all of it,
because it was a month ago.
Yeah, but yeah, we're gonna recount last session for all of your benefits, and also because Jay wasn't there. I know what I remember is that we went to the Capitol Cluster and the Capitol Parliament, and Nevo's like crimes against the Capitol were exposed. Yeah, I remember more than that. I do, I promise, but I don't want to.
Also, Callisto started getting symptoms of like the galaxy plague.
Yeah, she started getting. We started seeing her getting sick. Banana, you want to say more about Nevo's family life and exile?
So Nebo and the rest of his family is they're on weird terms because Nebo got exiled for quote unquote vandalizing a statue, which may or may not have happened. And so now Kamala has made Nebo, basically Kamala's convinced Nebo to go to the Capitol Parliament to state their case and try to figure out like a way around this so that he'll no longer be exiled.
Yeah, and I feel like we left on a cliffhanger. I totally should have watched last session. Today was nuts, and I went to about what the outcome of that was, or did we like? Because I know we rolled and we got Justice of the Founder as a result. I could see it in Roll20, but I don't know that we played that out unless I'm just forgetting horribly.
I don't remember either.
I feel like the part that I remembered that we haven't mentioned was that we spent some time with Nebo's sister.
Yes.
And we were all fascinated by this.
Yeah, Nebo's sister was a lot more forthcoming than Nebo has been about events which have transpired. Nebo seems to be extremely elusive in regards to what where his standing is with in the Capitol. And his sister was like, no, this happened and this happened. You screwed up. And Jen played her, and it was fantastic. Yeah, so I think anybody watching, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we left off. And we had gone to trial, and the trial was essentially that in the Capitol there's one punishment, which is exile. Like all crimes have the punishment of exile, and then if you come back from exile, it's sort of unspecified. I think for a while you were saying
more exile.
You get more exiled, but also like also I think Banana, you kind of intimated that like if you like refuse the exile, then the exile eventually turns to execution. Yeah. Like, right. Like maybe they don't talk about it much, but they just assume people will go away. And obviously in this case, we've come back, or Nevo's come back. And I think what we were really arguing for, not even so much was your innocence, was just like a less severe punishment than exile for vandalizing a statue, like putting a mustache on a statue of one of the founders. Does that sound right to you? I mean, I feel like, again, it's been a month, but I feel like that's kind of the sentiment that we were going for, which was like, that's ridiculous to just exile everybody every time they commit a minor infraction.
Yeah, that's basically the gist of it.
Nice. Cool. So I think we should decide like how that went, knowing that the outcome was the justice of the founder. But Jay, do you want to have had the Ori have done anything in this time, or do you sort of just want to say that he was in the background, or
No,
that it was in the background?
Yeah, I'm good with leaving him in the background. Perhaps he was ship maintenance or ship logistical stuff while everything else was in the foreground.
Cool. Then I think we should like Jen, is it fair to say that since we're coming back from it, that even though this is technically a scene, we should sort of reframe it as we would starting a new scene, just to kind of start in. Cool. So I think we're all there, right? We're all there to testify about Nevo's character. What does Kamala still think Nevo's name is? The name that he was going by? Oh no, she's finally realized that his name is Nevo, right? Like okay.
Kamala is still unclear on the title though.
Yeah. So I thought about that. So I've been sort of like it was sort of a little bit of like suspension of disbelief for me that like I was having a lot of fun with the joke that Kamala kept on thinking Nevo was a director of whatever was relevant in the moment. But I was like, how could a person like legitimately believe that? And I want to sort of retcon a little bit, and just to say that Kamala would have it would have been clear. Kamala would have said that when she imprints, like she's been part of her genetic alteration is to imprint to people of authority. And so when a person announces themselves as a person of authority, if she believes that they are, then that is a permanent imprint for her. She can't like rebuke that once because she's been grown essentially in Echo Station, and the people of authority there, she's been like genetically programmed to obey their commands. And so when Nevo showed up and was like, I'm the director of this, she was like, yeah, that's what you must be. And so even though evidence has shown to the contrary, she still considers Nevo an authority at all times because that's how he introduced himself. So that's my reconciliation to the fact that Kamala is like ridiculously loyal to Nevo and keeps believing anything he says, and including making stuff up of like, you must be the director of architecture.
Jurisprudence.
Yes, jurisprudence. Cool. All right. So I'm gonna sort of fiasco this up and like say I want to frame the scene, and then let one of you take it away from there. So the court is filled with these giant pillars, these giant white stone, maybe marble pillars, and on each of these pillars are these amazingly beautiful and detailed statues of the founders. And there are 7 of these statues around, and there's 7 judges. Although I don't think that these are the same founders. These are the like the representatives of each of the 7 major planets in the capital cluster. And their forebearers are the figures on these statues. And presumably it was one of these statues that was defaced. It is now clean because that kind of happened a long time ago. But maybe there's still little markings, like still little, if you got really close, you could see the little bits of a mustache that have been painted on. Or maybe that's just, the dark bits in the white, in the otherwise in the otherwise white stone. Who knows? So the veins in it. And above in this very dome space above is like a star map, one that looks like the map above us, perhaps. But the difference is that instead of it looking just like this, is that the 7 planets and their orbiting are in live motion there. And so we're seeing it's not the skyline, it's sort of projected on the ceiling, but it's the position of the cluster and all. And the 7 major planets that are in the cluster are highlighted, right? And they glow the brightest. They glow brighter than they actually do in the real life. And I think we've just like made our case. I think maybe we should make our case again, even if because I think we just said like we do this, but I don't know that we played it out. So Kamala's contribution, and then I'll pass the baton, is that if you exile the leaders and the most wise and the noblest among you, and she gestures to Nebo, who will you have left? How can any of you sit in these stands to lay judgment upon someone? And if knowing that you could, if for such a small infraction, be cast out yourself, you're all the wisest here. Shouldn't you recognize that a wise one among you, and find a smaller punishment than exile, so that Nebo can return to his family? That's kind of like Kamala's contribution. And then she turns to Callisto, sort of like, you're smarter than I am.
So Callisto, I think, starts out trying to build on that, on the whole, come on, there's a range of punishments required here, right? But I think like very shortly into her whole sort of monologue, she kind of pivots, and it turns into this speech about how if your only punishment is exile, then clearly you are viewing yourselves as more important than the rest of the galaxy, because you're just making your problems everybody else's problems. So she ends up kind of like shaming them a little bit, probably more than she intended to.
Oh my God, Kamala is affronted. Kamala is like I don't know how spider goats pale, but she totally pales. Like she bleats a little bit, I think. I think there's a little like a nervous bleeding. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you telling these authority people? Yeah. Spider bleed.
Oh my God, thank you for that, Sean. Oh, I'm crying. I'm laughing so hard.
Oh, that's terrifying. Nice.
So I think it kind of ends when she realizes that she's probably gone a little too far, and she just sort of stops talking and sits down.
Nice. Ori, will you speak on Nebo's app?
Absolutely. The Ori, I think, comes across slightly frustrated, a little bit annoyed. I think his case is that Nebo is part of the crew of the Liminal, and clearly this task we're doing is of immense importance, prestige. It's a big deal. That in light of defacing a statue, you should reevaluate your decision. He brings honor, uplifts your people. Without this task, the galaxy is huge. You might go unnoticed. So I would say, let Nebo complete this task. Upon its success, restore him to his former status before the exile, because clearly this task is of greater merit than the facing of the statue. It's pure logic. I don't even know why we're having this discussion.
Nice.
This is crazy.
I'd like to think that the founders who are like hearing our like sympathy and like have mercy kind of pleas were just like, heard it before. And now that they're like, oh yeah, you're right. If we exile Nebo, we can't claim that one of our own was on the ship to the Liminal because he won't be a citizen. And like, that won't be good. Like we won't get credit.
Right.
Like,
we won't get credit.
To me, I imagine at least some of the founders, like this is when they like start whispering in like hushed tones to each other and be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then Banana, does Nebo have like a final thing that he says for himself, or is there?
I think Nebo's still in the mindset where it's just like, obviously no one has any proof that I did it. I'm just gonna say that you don't have any evidence against me. You just blamed me for this crime. So, you know.
There was a werewolf game that I played a long time ago where one of the characters would be like, we're fighting these guys and they have us captured. I attack one and then say, I surrender. And then they'd be like, okay, all right, you surrender. And he's like, I attack again and then say, I surrender. He's like, I throw the guy off the ledge and say, I surrender. I'd be like, this is like, he must be like we're all like, of course you did, of course you did. You're like, no, I didn't do it. Well,
I didn't do it.
You're like drawing things. It wasn't me. Nice. Yeah, I think that there's like more murmuring amongst the thing. So the result that we got is Justice of the Founder, which seems to me like, well, I'm reading, Jen, you tell me if I'm reading this wrong, but like I'm reading this scale as, 1 to 2 was dishonored, where presumably we would be in the bad way, and 6 is the opposite end of that, which is Justice of the Founder. I'm not sure whether to read that as like that they honor us or that they have some horrible judgment that they place on us. What do you guys feel like is the right?
I think it's whatever Justice of the Founder means for us.
Yeah. I want to see a change. I think we've created a compelling enough. I think Ori in particular has created a compelling enough argument. Banana, how pedantic is the Capital Parliament people? Like, would they make like the smallest of changes and say, okay, all crimes are still punishment by exile except this one? Or do you think they would actually find Nebo innocent just so that they could relieve the?
I think they would probably say something like, yeah, all crimes are still punishable by exile, but in this instance, we're gonna let this go for now. But then later on, they're probably later on down the line, they're probably gonna change their entire I don't know, legal system or something, and say it's all on them. They decided to do this, and it had nothing to do with the situation.
It'll be totally revisionist history that they
Right.
nice.
Nice.
So yeah, I think what I think Nebo is pardoned. And like it's not even like an admission of failure on their part. It's like, we pardon you for this crime.
It's like the annulment of a crime.
Exactly. We erase this crime. And like, but we're not going to admit we did anything wrong. But yeah, I love the idea that they're going to go back and be like, you're right. Our punishment system is terrible. Cool. So that seems like the least amount of possible fanfare. Like you see all these like court trial things where like people come out and like the press is all cheering and they're all happy, like, yay, you're free, you're a free person. Like I imagine like the four of us just like walking out and everyone's like, case annulled. Next on the docket. Sweet. Cool. So I think, although we played I think that was Banana, I think that was your scene. Just because you rolled the die, maybe not. But Jay, since you weren't in the last game, do you want to do a scene in Capital Parliament, or does anyone want to move the liminal to the Talon Flotilla? I would be happy to go because we like resolve the major thing, but I don't know.
Okay.
Jay, if you want to have like any scenes here, and
no, I'm good with moving on. I will catch up if we're moving on. I'm with you. I think that seems like the pinnacle of being here, and so rather than drag it out, I can catch up at the next place.
Sweet. All right. Cool. Who wants to move the liminal? I just talked a lot, so I'm gonna stop talking as much.
Let's see. So it looks like we have. So I'm assuming we came in one route and we're going out the other route.
Yeah. Our next location is gonna be the Talon. The Talon. The Talon. Yeah. It's the letters are fine enough, and I'm looking at it too small. I can't tell if there's a hidden I in there. But yes, Talon. Sorry, that's why I keep on. And what I should do is have a copy that isn't being streamed, so I can have it bigger.
That just makes sense.
Yep.
I'll move it.
Cool.
I'll move it. And that means I describe the flotilla, right?
Right.
Yeah. Describe us sort of what it looks like as we're arriving.
All right. I think we're moving through space as normal. Most of it is bland, boring, lights, darkness. But at some point, we start running into some traffic. We start to see a scattering of other ships. And then that becomes more dense, more ships, and we start slowing down until there's ships, as far as the eye can see, crowded throughout the whole horizon of space, in front of us, behind us, below us. And as we look ahead, we can see that whole situation, like a traffic jam. It becomes so dense and so moved to a standstill. This is what the flotilla is.
Nice. So it's just like a giant traffic jam in space.
Yes.
I got that too. That's amazing.
That's so good.
Yeah, it's like a choke point, and it's just full everywhere as far as the eye can see. Just ships, all different varieties, shapes, and sizes, everywhere, up, down, behind us.
Have we established whether or not we're traveling like these interstellar journeys, whether or not we're traveling through some sort of hyperspace, faster than light travel mechanism? I don't think that's like. I don't
believe that has been established.
Cool. I'd like to add then that basically the flotilla has formed here in part because the only way to get to the Adderite Federation is to go through, and I'm stealing from Scum and Villainy here, but it feels right, is to go through a big like hyperspace jump gate that's here. And so
Nice.
everybody is like having to queue up. Like, you can't, like, you can get this far, but the only way to get there is to go through this giant jump gate. And like it opens and like a ship gets to go through and then it closes. And
It's like a toll booth.
it's like a toll booth, and it doesn't necessarily. And like there's inspections, because I think, and I'm sort of metagaming this a little bit, but I'm looking at the R8 Federation and thinking that by their nation of the Federation that they're sort of protective of who is allowed there. And so it's not just everybody queuing up to the toll, it's also inspections and toll and payments and things like that just like take some time. So we're all just stuck there like waiting to get on the ferry, like waiting to drive our cars onto the ferry or something like that.
Nice.
Does that fit with your idea of all the
Oh no, perfect. Yes.
Awesome. Sounds good. Oh, and there's even a location there called Jumpgate. Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, look at that.
You did that on purpose.
There it is. See, that's perfect. See, you had already thought I should have been reading this. You guys already clearly thought about that. I think I'm gonna open up the first scene then, unless somebody else wants to go. Sorry, I just that jump gate gave me an idea.
Go for it.
All right, I'm doing it. So Kamala is going to be on the bridge of the liminal, and we have the jump gate in view from this, like viewing from the front of the liminal, where we can sort of see through its crystalline form. There's the screen up and we can see out, and we see all of the ships that the Ori described. And yeah, and it's moving, just it feels like we'll be here forever. And Kamala finds Callisto, and actually I think we cut in as they're already talking. So they've clearly like been talking for a while, but Kamala finally Kamala asks Callisto in the middle of this conversation, don't you think they should let us go first? Like skip the line? We're on this incredibly important journey, and maybe these people are just, spice merchants. Maybe these people are just doing things that aren't as important. I bet if Nebo told them that we were if we told we're carrying the liminal, shouldn't, and she's like faltering over this, but a little bit, I think, like the defiance that Callisto showed, she feels like do that again, like
that's where Callisto literally brings out a soapbox to stand. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
I think during most of that, like Callisto is like sort of giving the sort of knowing but not saying anything look, right? Like I'm gonna disagree with you, but I'm gonna let you finish talking first.
Right. Yeah. She comes up with like several reasons, but like at the end of it, it's just like, aren't we more, isn't this more important? Is what it all totally boils down to.
Right. And Callisto says, do you think the liminal thinks that we're more important?
I don't know. You're the one that can like touch the liminal and know what it feels. Can you still do that?
Yes.
I feel like this is a trick question. Are you telling me the liminal doesn't want that? The liminal wants this journey to take longer?
The liminal does not seem to be in a hurry. The liminal has given me the impression that we will get through when we're supposed to get through.
And
are you in a hurry?
And this is when like Kamala's real reason for this concern is like, well, I'm not in any rush. And that's where Callisto coughs. He's like,
I'm not
but
sick
don't
anymore, so it's not Jen coughing.
right. But the Minsk peoples, none of us survived, at least not whole. And the plague is a viral, awful contamination that eats away at people and deteriorates your body and your mind over time. I don't know how it interacts with other species, but I mean, if someone were to be sick, and she's like trying not really hard, like to preserve your privacy, but we can literally see Callisto's innards. And I mean, like, I feel like it's like, I don't know, maybe like
periodically during the conversation, the camera has like panned into specific places on Callisto that are clearly not okay.
Right. I feel like we see like some organs that are like suffering some degeneration, like they've shriveled some or something like that. The liminal might last forever, and finally she blurts out, she's like, the liminal lasts forever, but you won't.
And she kind of gets that, oh, that's where you were leading look. Well, I'm the keymaster. I just have to last until we get to the gate.
How long do you think that will be?
I don't know. I've never done this journey before. I feel okay.
Well, if and there goes Doggy because he's getting dinner. If I'm glad that you feel okay, I'm afraid that might not last though. And I think that's insane. Like I don't think Kamala has anything else right now. It's clear that she is not just worried about like, let's finish our mission. But she doesn't really know what to say.
Before we end the scene, if it's okay with you, I want Callisto to kind of put a hand on Kamala. And like Callisto is not like worried. She will last until she needs to last. And then she has this sort of like almost religious faith in her purpose on this mission. So in laying hands on Kamala, she's just like radiating like everything's gonna be fine.
Cool. I think some of her mandibles that were like in like the tensed nervous position, and some of her eyes that were like vision splaying, like in that like I need to be alert because there's danger present. Like I need to look in all directions and make sure I'm not being ambushed. Some of her like side eyes close and like it kind of has like this shuddering effect until we're just left with like her two eyes are like looking at you because she is like calmed by this.
That was neat.
By this. Awesome. That's my scene. And I thought I had to step away, but I don't. So we're all good. Who wants to do the next one?
I mean, I definitely want to have a scene with the Ori because that just needs to happen.
I agree.
And I think, Jay, if it's okay with you, I kind of want Callisto to come into it being like, why can't I hear your thoughts? And the Ori is much more like, hey, you're sick and you can't ignore that forever.
Right.
If that's okay with you.
No, I'm good with that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, so this is an honest conversation. I don't know that I'm going to use the Diplomat's cruiser because I don't know that we're changing vehicles. Maybe we're in like an observation deck, and we can see this very shiny yacht-looking thing.
Sure. Well, if it is like the jump gate security, maybe this is where we have to go while they like scan the liminal to make sure we're not bringing any weapons or something like that. Like,
oh, sure. Yeah.
Like we're just temporarily on this little cruiser as I don't know if that.
Yeah. No, I like it. Cool. Yeah, because then we're in like a totally new place, which is potentially uncomfortable for people. Cool. I'm trying to think how Callisto would start this conversation. Actually, you know what? She just walks in and is like, I still can't hear you, and that bothers me.
How are you today?
I'm bothered by the fact that I can't hear you.
And your other systems, how are they today?
Operating fine.
At 100%? 80%? 50%?
I mean, you'd have to ask the doctor, I suppose. I just saw them a few days ago when we were at the Parliament.
And they say you're well.
I'm well enough for now.
When will you not
fine.
be well?
I just have a little bug. It's totally fine.
A little bug?
And the camera pans into her stomach, which is totally the wrong color.
I feel like there's it's the galactic plague, right?
Yes.
Right.
I feel like there's like some kind of signature thing about like the way it looks. Are there any colors that are not normally part of Callisto's innards? Or like does she have a color palette?
I think her color palette, I think, is mostly like blue-green, and then like stomach is like orange because her people are aquatic, so they spend most of their time in water.
Right.
So I kind of like it being like blue-greens and then orange on the totally opposite side of the color spectrum. So I think she wouldn't have any like red or pink on her, or maybe like brown.
So just because it shows up well, what about yellow? There'd be yellow present?
Like
a bright yellow, like a really like highlighter color yellow.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh my God. Yes, let's call it that.
Awesome. So I want to say
this one is yellow.
Yes.
You happy, Sean?
I'm very happy. Thank you for showing this the shawl that you're. So I'm gonna say that like there's that sort of honeycomb pattern of infection that's like spreading across some of her organs, and that also pattern, like a very burnt out, fried version of that pattern, is visible on all the like insides of Kamala's chitinous plates, like where all the plates like meet the skin. Like there's like little etchings of that where from her race having previously had it, and like the telltale signs of it before. Sure. Just so we have like a visual cue that this is the galactic plague.
Do we know that your ability is not hampered by your wellness?
What do you mean, my ability? My sort of function in the mission?
Well, that is hampered too as well, isn't it?
No, my function is to present the key at the gate.
Your ability to detect my soul? My mind?
I was never able to detect your thoughts, even from the beginning.
Have you asked the liminal?
The liminal told me I should talk to you. And she was like admitting that cost her a thing.
The Ori seems to ponder that a moment. Then the Ori says, perhaps it simply is the cosmos's balance.
She kind of like is quiet for a second. The cosmos's balance. What does that even mean? Like, you're trying to spout like nonsense at me and I'm not buying it.
Well, if you could read everything's mind in the cosmos, what would prevent your species from dominating the cosmos?
My species doesn't want to dominate the cosmos.
But if it could read everything, what would stop it?
I don't know. My species has never been about domination. We live on the planet with, thousands of other species. And you're the only one I can't read.
Have you tried to read any of my other batch members?
I have not.
Perhaps it is the same.
Very interested in this, yeah. Where are they located?
They're back at the station where the batch was created.
Ah.
What's Ori's location is from? He's an apparatus of Alpha Station, right?
Yeah, Alpha Station. Most of them are still there at Alpha Station.
Mm.
Perhaps this batch is your balance. And simply nothing more.
She kind of gives you like the raised eyebrow, like, all right, there's
right.
three. Okay. We'll see about that.
Why does this thing not work? Cosmic balance.
Cosmic balance. And I will say, if the Ori could, and maybe it can, it's cagey about its answers. So,
yeah, I'm picking that up. I feel like
I like it. Cool. I don't think that I have anything else I would like to do in the scene. So if you're cool, I think we can call it.
Awesome. Banana or Jay, do either of you have a scene you want to kick off?
I kind of want to do a scene at the transit pod with Ori as well. So I'm thinking that this is like this is sort of like this platform with like a large window, and you can see all the stars as we slowly like pass by them. And I see Ori just like Nebo sees Ori standing there like in front of the window, and Nebo goes up to him and says, "Ever since we left Capitol Parliament, I'm having sort of like a lot of questions about my existence, and you know everything about the liminal, and you know everything about what's going on here. I just want to know, do you know why I'm here?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell me why?
You're the administrator, right?
Well, not
The executive administrator or director, right?
well, that's what I've been telling everyone, but I'm not exactly that. I kind of snuck onto the ship.
No.
Yeah.
Well, now you're the administrator.
What does an administrator do?
I don't know. What does the administrator do?
I think I should talk to Callisto about this.
I think you should be the administrator.
Okay. I'll
That
go.
is your role.
Okay. I will go admin somewhere.
Excellent. I'm glad I could be helpful.
I think we can cut there.
I'll say, I don't know that word was helpful. Nice. All right, Jay, that leaves your scene.
Who joined? I'm thinking the jump gate. I'm trying to figure out who joins the flotilla. I got it. I think this is a scene with everybody. Maybe we're on the bridge of the liminal after the inspection. We're all boarding the liminal again, getting ready to move in the queue. Maybe we moved up enough so that we can see folks entering the jump gate. The Ori points out a ship that is next in line to go. The gate closes because it's letting a ship through already, and the Ori points it out. It's a, I don't know, I think it's a weird shape. Maybe it's a collection of stuff. It's a weird shape. It doesn't look like any traditional starship. And the Ori doesn't recognize it. So it's asking that does anyone recognize that ship that's joining in the flotilla? Well, going through the jump gate. I know a great deal, many of ships, and I do not recognize that one.
There's the and this is a time when I'll point out that the awesome creators of this game added a bunch of lists of names of species and systems and things like that for us to rip off of. So you're not, so when we have to wonder what's a thing, we have it in the Roll20 journal. You can pull it up next to the characters. There's the character sheet.
Look at that. Nice.
If you zoom in on it, over on the right, there's character names and system names and species names. I say this because I'm terrible at coming up with names, and I am very appreciative of the creators, Jen and Adam, for making this
nice. I like it.
List. Kamala says the Zevi were a people that only and I think you said there's like a conglomeration of like a bunch of like nodes all stuck together,
right?
And she says the Zevi are a people that have a collective that they join into a collective to make important decisions, and I saw some of the Zevi in Echo Station, and they were working on the same. They're working with the scientists, and they spoke of people that, you know, and from what I've heard of the Zevi, that they bond together to increase their knowledge and their wisdom. But I've never heard of a ship doing the same. This looks like many ships that have stuck themselves together. I don't even understand the method of propulsion this thing has. But perhaps these are several people bound together, or several ships bound together that maybe from many species. And Kamala kind of realizes that she's like babbling when she's like, I don't know, because but perhaps there's some collective. Why do you ask the Ori? What, are you just curious, or do you think that they're a threat?
It feels like a threat. There are not very many species I'm not aware of. Part of my function here is to assess risk. Why am I not familiar with this ship, these people? How have they hidden themselves from being detected?
I think there's some beautiful irony here that Ori's getting all upset that there's a species that they don't know, and Callisto is like, why is there a species that I can't understand? You're like, just because. JB. That's a thing now. No, it's not. So I know we kind of previously like depicted all of our characters as like utterly unable to do anything on the like the liminal. Like none of us have like any technical skills whatsoever. But I feel like it's reasonable that perhaps some of the crystalline controls are, you know, we've figured them out by this point.
Sure.
So Kamala is like attempting to use the liminals readouts to see if she can gather information about it, but her skills are certainly enough to like identify, to use the equipment, but not enough to save its unknown origin. But she does confirm that it is in fact several vessels all combined, and she can't scan what's like inside. Like there's a bunch of things that are all around something, and she doesn't know what's inside that thing. And so she starts getting like, she starts going back into like danger zone fear as well, based off of this. She wasn't afraid before, but Ori's got her, or the Ori has her riled up. Should we do something? Should we say something? Should we inform the guards? Should we tell them that maybe their inspections didn't penetrate the exterior hull of those ships? And we need somebody of authority to speak to the gate administrators.
They are also administrators? We have an administrator.
I am an administrator. And Nebo steps up and is just like all proud that he is now an administrator. And then he whispers over to Callisto, what do I do?
I'm trying to think what Callisto would actually tell you to do at this point. Actually, no. She's eating up like candy. The Ori, not knowing what's going on. She's so entertained by this. She can't even help you, and I apologize for that. Like, she got this big giant grin on her face.
I think I will throw a sort of a narrative bone and say that because we're so close to the queue, a communication comes over our communication systems, and kind of like a crackly voice comes through, and at first it's like utterly unintelligible. It's like, and then like the universal language translator kicks in, and it says, and it repeats this like, prepare for jump gate, prepare for jump gate. You are third in the queue. Expected wait times are 5 minutes or less.
You
and
can
it's like-
expect to be through the gate between the hours of 9 and 9.
Exactly. And it's like, press 1 to confirm, +2 to abort, to exit the queue, +3. Of course, it's not press, but it's like, it's like this very like automated voicemail sort of queuing system that sort of comes over our communications. And somebody at least needs to respond, if nothing else, in the affirmative that we're ready to go. But I think, Kamala sort of like rotates the little controls that she was using to Nebo to enter a response or to communicate with them back. Because like there's two-way communication certainly possible.
I'm gonna try and communicate with them. Does anyone want to be like the other end of the communication?
Yeah, I can totally be a very bored administrator.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So you press like whatever like control it is to speak with an operator, right?
Like 0.
Yeah, exactly. You hit 0. Like that is not a malfunction. You hit star, right? Like, keep pounding stuff until you get this like. So I told Stacy that she could. Hello. Thank you for contacting the Talon Flotilla Administration Department. We apologize for your wait.
Is this Stacy?
No.
I'm speaking with?
No. No. I'm very sorry you overheard. This is Agent. Hold on. I have things. I have something that has names on it. This is Agent LN-K7. How may I provide you the best possible service in all of the galaxy? She says, clearly like reading off of a placard. Like she has zero enthusiasm.
Hello, LNK7. Thank you for answering our call. I'm like holding on to the speaker real quick. What do we want to ask her? So like everyone else. Anything?
I mean, shouldn't we have her reinspect or identify the ship that's in front of us and make sure that they're not I mean, they're not in the Ortiz database and they're concealing something.
They are dangerous. Inform them they are dangerous.
Oh, right.
He's so totally giggling.
My team has informed me that, see, I'm an administrator myself, so I thought that it would be good for us to communicate because the ship in front of us is dangerous.
Sure you are. Very nice. Thank you very much for your feedback. And it's clear like while you were talking to the ship, like she had you muted because she came back in like in the middle of another conversation as well. She's like, and then she kind of catches that you said is dangerous. Like at first she just kind of was ignoring it. And it's like, would you like to fill out a requisition to give us an alert that we could fill out the you could certainly contact our emergency services. Hold time for them is approximately 30 minutes at the moment. I'd be happy to put you through the queue. And it sounds like she's like just about to hit the please hold.
Wait. 30 minutes. We don't have 30 minutes. They might be doing something right now as we speak. So is there anything else we can do?
Sounds like it sounds like this is a potential emergency. Am I right?
Yes, but 30 minutes is a long time.
So how much is like Nevo's like? I feel like Nevo is good at convincing people of things, right? Like maybe almost preternaturally good.
Sure.
I mean, at least it worked on Kamala. I'm just, this is just me as a player trying to justify why my character was so like, yeah, sure, you're this things. Okay. What was your name again?
Nebo. Administrator Nebo.
Administrator Nebo.
Yeah.
All right then. How about all right. Hey, L5 K6. We've got a call here. Hold on just a second. I will be right back.
Wait, don't hang up on me.
No, don't put me on hold. Don't put me on. Oh.
Yeah, and next thing you hear is like galactic, space music. You're listening as you hear the galactic cold music, and the jump gate is about to open for the ship, and it gets like part way open, and then there's like a stutter, like a garage door opener that like detects the thing. Like
the pause button.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody like hit the pause button, and it starts opening, and then the iris like closes again without it being fully open, and like two Talon ships like kind of break away from the or come out from the side of the gate, and they like park around the thing, and some sort of communication goes on, and there's like this long delay before that like the ship gets pulled off to the side, like taken out of the queue. But we see like these spotlights from the Talon flotilla vessels, like basically like pointing to us, like pointing to the terminal, like they're the ones who said it. Like
everybody lays on their horns.
Like these are the snitches, right?
I think at this point Callisto has almost fallen off her chair laughing. She finds this very amusing.
Nice. I think we have like evil eyes from the ship that we have just stopped, and we're gonna say it is a Yarati ship, because it may come back to us, but they have been, at least for now, taken out of the queue for another inspection.
Nice.
Whether we'll run into them again.
Nice.
So this was the plan, to skip the line. Got it.
Got it.
Yeah, and then we get to like, you are now number 1 in the queue. Please prepare for boarding.
And that could be seen. That's perfect.
Nice. I dig it. Cool. I think we're about an hour, so why don't we take a break, and then we'll jump to the next location. Sound good?
Cool.
That sounds good.
All right. Let's start this up. We'll be back soon.